Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. The WS title race continues to heat up as Chelsea travel to London rivals West Ham to attempt to stay top of the league. Manchester City currently occupy first place after their 3-1 win in the Manchester derby at the Etihad Stadium yesterday. Chelsea's opposition, West Ham, are 11th in the league with only a win today being enough to attempt to move them up to 10th. It has been a horrid season for the Hammers as they have just got one win from their 8 home league games this season, and that win was a shock 3 points against third place Arsenal. They are 9 points off their total for last season with just 18 left to play in this campaign. Chelsea have now dropped to second but are in strong form in all competitions. In the week they beat Ajax in the Champions League last 16 first leg away from home in a 3-0 win with goals coming from a new skin brace and an opener from Lauren James. Chelsea have just one defeat in their last 16 in all competitions, and a win today would put them back to the top of the title race as they look for their 5th WSL League title in a row. In the history of this fixture, West Ham have never won. It is 15 Chelsea wins and 1 draw, which came back in March 2019. So, for this grudge match between the top and bottom of the league, will it be West Ham or Chelsea to come out victorious? It is a huge game, but it's like every game now from now till the end of the season for Chelsea. Every game is going to be absolutely massive. They are currently going after the quadruple. They are well within the mix for the title. They are in the League Cup final against Arsenal. They are in the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United, and they are still in the Champions League, and it looks like they will go through to the quarter-finals of the Champions League after that 3-0 win away in the week at Ajax in the last 16. So it could be a huge next 2 months for Chelsea in their last season under Emma Hayes, as it has been announced that she's leaving the club to go and take on the United States job, their women's side. So it'd be a fantastic way for Emma Hayes to leave, and it would just sum up her legacy at the club if she was to go on and win all 4 trophies. And even if she doesn't win all 4 trophies, even if she just wins 2 of them, or even maybe 3, maybe win a treble, that'd be absolutely incredible. They are just a little bit unfortunate, really, that Manchester City in the league are just on absolute fire. Manchester City, I think, have won 11 WSL games in a row, and it does mean that Chelsea are having to do some chasing at the moment, and it's only because Manchester City played first. So Chelsea do need to win. Any kind of win from any margin will put Chelsea back to the top because they have the same goal difference as Manchester City, and they have already scored more goal. They have scored 3 more goals than them. So any way of getting the 3 points puts Chelsea back to the top of the league, and it's getting down to the really tense times in the campaign as there's 5 league games to go after today. But for Chelsea, they have 6 wins in their last 7 in the WSL. That one game without a win was a defeat to Manchester City on the 16th of February, and that is their only loss in their last 16. And as mentioned before, they have only lost 1 of their last 16 in all competitions. The other 15 games have all been victories. It is quite the run that Chelsea are on. It's nothing that we're not used to. It is a very typical Chelsea season. They're winning a lot of games, and altogether from the 28 they've played in all competitions, they have won 23. They have only lost 2 this season, and they were one at home to Manchester City, and the other was away at Arsenal at the Emirates. It was a 4-1 defeat. It was a little bit uncharacteristic, but it is their only away defeat this season. They are currently on a run of 3 away wins in a row in the league, beating Leicester, Brighton and Bristol, teams they'd expect Chelsea to beat, but it builds momentum and it makes confidence skyrocket in this team, and they should really beat this West Ham side. They're 11th at the moment in the table, West Ham United, in the WSL. If they win, they could go up to 10th and go above Brighton and Everton, so they could even get up to 9th with 3 points. A draw would keep them in 11th, so it's looking a pretty bleak season for West Ham. It looks like they're going to struggle really to get up and beyond 11th place. I think it's a game today where they'll probably look for the draw as a minimum. I think winning this game would be some achievement. Like I say, West Ham have never beaten Chelsea women in the history of this fixture, which is quite the record. The biggest win for Chelsea against West Ham, it was 8-0 back in February 2020. But it's just been a bit of a downhill spiral for West Ham, who finished 8th last season, but they only won one of their last 12 league games last season, and now this season they've won 3 from 16. So their really poor form from the back end of last season has just trickled through into this season. And even though they've had a change of manager with Rhian Skinner, formerly of Spurs, it seems like she's not really been able to change the fortune around for West Ham. But I think their main aim for this season will just try and get up a few places. They don't want to finish second bottom because, Bristol are right rock bottom. Bristol are with 1 win from their 17 games. So I don't think it's much of an achievement really to finish above Bristol this season. I think the team who finishes second bottom, that'll almost be like, finishing bottom itself, even though they're technically not. I hope you understand what I mean there. I just think Bristol is so far down, it's almost like they're not even a part of really this league at the minute. 1 win from 17 is pretty poor. If you're new, make sure you like, subscribe. Not to give anything away, but I think it is relevant. I was at the Manchester derby yesterday. I was at the Etihad Stadium. 40,000 people. It was a great day. It was a great game as well. So to now come across and watch this other big title race game is going to be interesting. But it was it was good, really good, 40,000 plus people at the Etihad. It was the atmosphere was okay. It was a little bit quiet, but overall, I thought the quality of the game was pretty decent once City kind of got into it. I thought Manchester City were pretty poor opening 20 minutes. They had a lot of the ball, but it was just a little bit slow, a little bit sloppy at times. Gave Manchester United a lot of their early chances, but once City got the first goal, it was kind of all Manchester City from that point on till the end. And I think the goals that City scored, when they scored them, I think really knocked Manchester United down a little bit. Right, 2 goals right before half time and then 1 straight after is hard to take. But I'll quickly go through the lineups here, as it is West Ham's team. It is Mackenzie Arnold in goal, the Australian captain. 3 at the back of Denton, Tiziak and Zadorski. 3 along the midfield, 2 wing backs of Risa Shimizu and Kirsty Smith, and 2 central midfielders of Hanoka Hayashi and Katrina Gori, who was brought in January. And then leading the line, 3 up front, just in behind the 2 strikers, going to be Jess Zhu. And then the 2 strikers up front is Vivian Assey, the French striker, who's making a 50th appearance for the club. And alongside here is going to be Rico Ueke. Can't quite say her name. Ueke, Japanese striker, featured in every game so far this season for West Ham. She has got 5 goals in all competitions, 4 in the WSL. And she did score in West Ham's last game, which was a 3-1 away defeat to Liverpool. And for Chelsea, it's 3 changes from their last league lineup against Arsenal and their last lineup against Ajax in the Champions League. Hannah Hampton remains in goal, back 4 of Ashley Lawrence, Jess Carter, Kadisha Buchanan, and captain for today, Niamh Charles. 2 holding midfielders of Melanie Leupold and Sioke Nuskin, who is in great goal scoring form at the moment. Chelsea's number 6. She has got 6 league goals this season. She scored a brace against Arsenal in their last game last weekend at Stamford Bridge, and she's got 10 altogether for the season, and she also scored another brace in their game against Ajax in midweek. 3 behind the striker. On the right is going to be Joanna Rittin Carnrid. On the left is Lauren James. And behind the striker is going to be Helena Chankovic, and up front leading the line, making just a second start of the season in the league, and it is Aggie Beaver Jones. She has not scored in any of her last 5 games in the WSL that she's played in. Beaver Jones, her last goal in the league coming back on the 26th of November. So a couple of changes for Chelsea. A rare start for Beaver Jones, but she's got plenty of quality. She's already scored against West Ham this season, Beaver Jones, when they met in the FA Cup 4th round in mid-January, where Chelsea won by 3-1 in the end. And what result will we get here today? It's at West Ham's women's home ground, and that is Dagenham and Redbridge Stadium of the National League, Victoria Road. Who will take all 3 points, or will we get a share of the spoils? We'll wait and see here, but it is West Ham against Chelsea here. It'll be West Ham kicking off, kicking left to right. Chelsea right to left here. West Ham kicks us off. It's with their Australian central midfield of Gorey. Go to the right centre-back here of, I believe that is Tisiak. And it's down the right-hand side here for Ueke, who from the right flank crosses into the box. It's been headed on by Say, and it's just gone wide. Big chance early on there for West Ham. We're not even 30 seconds in. The ball was worked down the right-hand side there by Gorey, and it was a good touch away from, I think that was Buchanan, by Ueke. And there's a cross, about 8 yards out from goal. Viviane Asseyi was the one to win the header. She had her eyes on the ball from the moment the cross was delivered, but couldn't quite direct it on target. Quick start from Viviane Asseyi, as I mentioned before. It is her 50th West Ham appearance. She's scored 14 goals for the club since joining last season from Bayern Munich. As it's Chelsea, midway side of their own half here, with Niamh Charles from left back, bringing the ball forward beyond the halfway line, finding Newskin, who will play a ball through into the space here for Lauren James in the area. Tight angle, plays it across. Beever-Jones strikes, and it's an early goal for Chelsea. Aggie Beever-Jones once again scores against the Hammers, and it gives Chelsea a lead, which puts them back to the top of the WSL. It has not took them long. It's their first attack, and it brings them their first goal. It was just a little bit too easy. Hampton with the ball out to the left of Charles, who controlled it nicely, got beyond the halfway line, played it to Newskin, who's been in the goals herself recently, but it was her pass to play the ball through for James, who first time got the ball to her right, as she already knew that there was a Beever-Jones run being made, and she found that, and first time with her right foot towards that near post, Beever-Jones was able to drill the ball home. No chance for Arnold in the West Ham goal. It's brilliantly worked by Chelsea. And already, as we are just over 2 minutes in, it is West Ham 0, Chelsea 1. And that is a very nice finish there from Aggie Beever-Jones, who's only making a second start of the season in the league. As West Ham are going to try and get back into this game straight away. Jess Carter has to clear a cross at the near post in the 6-yard box, and out for a corner it goes. Aggie Beever-Jones scoring her 6th goal of the season in the league. It's her first in the WSL since late November. It's such a good run from the left-hand side from Beever-Jones. Just keeping herself the right distance away from James. So Lauren James could just play the ball through to her and then latch onto the ball first time to put it into that bottom left corner. But West Ham are going to try and get an equaliser here as quickly as possible. They go short here from the corner, and it's chipped into the near post, and it's headed behind there for a goal kick. Not the greatest of crosses, really asking a lot of West Ham's number 18 of Anouk Denton, as the ball was put in originally there by Jess Zhu, Irish international. And it's Chelsea to play out from the back. This is how they scored the first goal, with a Hampton ball, which goes to a right centre-back here, still in the 18-yard box of Carter, back into the number 24 of Hannah Hampton, who seems to have put herself into the Chelsea team as the first-choice goalkeeper at the moment. 3 of her 4 league clean sheets have come away from home for Hannah Hampton. Chelsea look to attack here. Newskin plays the ball along to Lou Poulton, and her ball out wide to the left is intercepted, but plays pulled back by the referee as Newskin released the ball there to Lou Poulton. She was pulled down, and the free kick will be given to Chelsea. If you are new, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. We're looking to bring at least one commentary a week from the women's game. So if this is what you're interested in, make sure you like and subscribe. It's going to be a free kick just to the left-hand side, so it's more probably suited for a right footer. Chankovic and James are the ones stood over it at the moment for Chelsea. I mean, there's definitely an argument to shoot here for James. About 25 yards out, she will shoot towards the bottom left corner, and it's just gone wide. Not sure if that took a nick from the goalkeeper. as Mackenzie Arnold was scrambling over there. Yeah, just a touch behind there by the goalkeeper to avoid the ball going in the back of the net. Not quite sure if it was on target originally, but the goalkeeper wasn't sure, so she made sure that there was no risk being taken. As from this near side, it'll be a Lauren James in-swinger with her right foot from this corner. It goes along the ground, cleared at the near post, up into the air, onto the edge of the box. West Ham need to deal with it, and Gorey is the one to kick it away, and she'll chase her own ball here, as Gorey keeps it in on this near side for West Ham. Down the right-hand side, it goes towards Zhu, who will chase the ball down, and she's met by a challenge from Buchanan, but it will fall here for Zhu, and then played through into the box here. Zhu on the tight angle, pulls it all the way across, shot at the far post, and it's wide. It's got to go in. Kirsty Smith, arriving at the far post, has got to at least get it on target. Good battling down that right-hand side there by Zhu, who ran into Buchanan, and the ball was eventually at the feet there of Anouk Denton, who then played it through for Zhu, who pulled it back, and he went all the way through to the far post. And how on earth Kirsty Smith hasn't at least got that on target from 8 yards out is poor. She's all on her own. She's got to get that on target. And West Ham have had 2 decent openings in the opening 6 minutes, which is frustrating for them with the fact they're already 1-0 down, because they've shown really positive signs in the early openings of this game. But that's got to be going on target by Kirsty Smith. She's only scored once this season, and that was in the league against Brighton in a 2-0 away win back in October. But it's just not good enough at all. It was so well worked down the right-hand side there, because the West Ham right have started well. The likes of Denton at right centre-back and Zhu also drifting out to this right-hand side. But they've got to find the finishing touch there, West Ham. As it's on the halfway line with Niamh Charles at left-back for Chelsea. Down the left channel it goes here to Beaver Jones, who will get there in the box on the left-hand side, onto her right foot. She lays it off for Lauren James, who's going to try and put it towards the top right corner. It's just slightly overhit there by Lauren James, who is second at the moment in the goal-scoring charts in the WSL, 13 for her in the season. 2 hat-tricks already against Liverpool and Manchester United. She has scored 3 in the last 4 games for Chelsea, and those 3 goals have all come in different competitions. In the Champions League, in the WSL, and the League Cup as well, against Manchester City. As it'll be a throw in here for West Ham on this near side. Before, just in their right wing back area here. It's thrown down the line. And it's last touch off Charles, so another throw in for West Ham. Thrown to the halfway line here to Ueke, who's brought down there by Beaver Jones. And that'll be a free kick for West Ham, just inside their own half on this near side. Well won there by their Japanese number 9 Ueke, who's brought in the summer from Verdi Beleza in Japan. And it is her first club away from Tokyo for Riko Ueke. As West Ham have got it just outside their 18-yard box here. Into the midfield to Gorey. Keeps it away from Lou Poltz. Well played there by Gorey, who was brought in the January window for West Ham, the Australian midfielder. She goes to her right here towards Denton, slightly overhit. The ball goes to the number 3 of Shimizu, but it was just too much power on the pass. Couldn't quite control it there, and it rolls out for a Chelsea throw in here, and they go back into their own half here with the number 26 of Buchanan, 28-year-old for Chelsea, joined in the summer of 2022. Kadisha Buchanan still hasn't scored for the club, and she's got the blue headband on there, quite visible to see which player is Buchanan there. As it's midway inside their own half here with Lou Potts in the centre of the midfield, plays it forward into the centre circle to Lauren James, who's brought down by Gorey for West Ham. And it'll be a free kick for Chelsea. As Chelsea want to get on with it, as today's referee is Megan Wilson. And she has got her 2 assistants of Kerry Williams and Amy Keir. Thanks to everyone who is here. If you could like and subscribe, that'd be absolutely fantastic. Just under 10 minutes in here, Chelsea lead by a 1-0. It was a goal just over the minute mark by Aggie Beaver Jones as Hampton goes long for Chelsea. Brilliant chested control by Niamh Charles on the byline. Can she keep the ball in here? It's poked away from her by West Ham's Anouk Denton. And that'll be, I believe, possibly a corner. I can't quite see where the ball was kicked out. It was a little poke away there by Denton, the West Ham central defender, who's making just a second start of this year in the league. She also started in West Ham's 1-1 draw against Manchester United. And it looks like she has tackled the ball away for a corner here, as Chelsea want to try and double their lead. It'll be an outswinger from Cankovic. The ball goes in at the near post. It's headed away to the edge of the area here to Lauren James, who loses out to Zhu, and then she volleys the ball away for West Ham beyond the halfway line. Jess Carter will get there first for Chelsea, as West Ham slowly push up the field themselves here, as it's with Hampton, the Chelsea goalkeeper, on the edge of the box. Plays it to her right here, to Carter, and then back into Hampton. And it looks like, as we were mentioning before, Hannah Hampton's become Chelsea's number 1, and she just took that position around December time. That's where Hayes started using Hampton a bit more regularly as the first choice goalkeeper. As Chelsea have given it away here in their own half, it's played out to the right towards Ueke, tackled strongly by Buchanan. Ball drops here for Zhu for West Ham, who drives on the inside from this near side, keeps it away from Newskin and plays it along to the left here to West Ham's number 14 of Zadorsky. Forward to Smith, back into Hayashi, and then it goes all the way back towards the 18-yard box for West Ham here with their goalkeeper Arnold. Good press there from Chelsea to force West Ham all the way back, who'd won it in the Chelsea half but couldn't quite retain the possession high up the pitch. So they're in their own half here on this near side with Denton, who goes back here into the number 3 of Shimizu for West Ham. Japanese international, making her 49th appearance for the club, and it's her 48th start for Risa Shimizu, the wing-back. Very rarely unavailable. She's always present in these West Ham teams since she joined last season. As the goalkeeper Arnold goes long, header won by Buchanan. It'll drop to a West Ham player here, and that's their number 14 of Shalina Zadorsky, who's on loan for till the end of the season from Spurs. She was brought in January. As it's Hayashi for West Ham. Bit of possession here for the home side. Work it to this near side here to Shimizu. About 10 yards away from the halfway line. Goes back across to her left here to Gori. All Chelsea players are currently behind the ball, as it's with Zadorsky, the Canadian centre-half, who will go long and high here. And behind the Chelsea defence, it's hooked away by Carter. And it's a throw-in midway side the Chelsea half here for West Ham. On the far side, it's with their number 2 of Kirsty Smith. Throwing towards the edge of the box. It's just cleared away there by Lou Poltz for Chelsea. Kept alive by Zadorsky, clears it down the left-hand side, but only as far as Ritin Carmrid, and Chelsea can attack it as the ball's been played through for Beaver Jones, who's all on her own. She wants a second of the game. Heavy touch met by the goalkeeper, and it's brilliant goalkeeping in the end. Should have really scored there, Beaver Jones, but that final touch just got away from her. And as she was just about able to get onto that heavy touch, the goalkeeper was there, right in front of her, to stop her going around her. And that's brilliant goalkeeping in the end there by Arnold, because how many times have we seen goalkeepers take down the attacker in those situations? But Beaver Jones has already got one today, will be frustrated there because that heavy touch really let her down, because she got away from her marker there of Shimizu. And she was bearing down on goal, and it is West Ham's captain of Mackenzie Arnold who's kept them in this game at the moment. Just one down after 13 minutes. As it's West Ham on the ball on the far side. Facing her own goal here is the striker of Asei. It goes back here into Zadorsky. It's now Hayashi. Smith into Asei. Good football here from West Ham. They're still in their own half, and that's where they lose it. But then they win it back off Cankovic. Forward here for West Ham as they try and switch out to the right. It's beautifully done there by Ueke. And it's now on the right wing here with Denton. Crosses it into the 18-yard box. It's a high one. It's nodded down here. Chance for West Ham as the shot goes into the back of the net. But the flag's up. Celebrations cut short there for Hayashi, the Japanese midfielder who thought she'd scored her 3rd of the season. It was an early ball in there from the right flank by Anouk Denton. In it went. The header was won. And she's well onside. That is a horrific decision. That is awful. It was just inside the 18-yard box. The header was won by a Japanese teammate, Uweke. She headed it on to the right side of the box where it fell for Hayashi, who just beat Hampton to the ball and kicked it beyond the goalkeeper into the bottom left corner. And she's well onside. It should have been a goal. That is rubbish officiating. It's not like she's online. She's well behind Jess Carter, who was playing her onside. And there's moments like that when you're in title races where you need those moments to go for you. And for Chelsea, it's certainly gone for them. But in fairness, yesterday, Manchester City also had a goal scored where Bunny Shaw was in an offside position during the build-up, and that wasn't given. So it seems like it's almost levelled itself out there between Chelsea and Manchester City. But she's well onside. And in the opening 15 minutes, West Ham have had about 3 openings, really good openings, getting in behind the Chelsea defence, and they've got their goal there, and it should have stood. But the assistant referee on the near side had a flag up, and the goal was disallowed. And I'm sure West Ham's manager, Rhian Skinner, will be absolutely furious with that decision when she finds out that that goal probably should have stood. So it remains 1-0 here. West Ham are playing okay at the moment. Defensively, they're looking a little bit fragile, but I don't know if that's more the fact that West Ham's defence is weak or Chelsea's attack is just rather strong. When you've got the likes of Beaver Jones and James and Newskin, who's also in fantastic goal-scoring form at the moment for Chelsea. But we've got it in the 18-yard box for West Ham with their goalkeeper Arnold. Goes out to the left here to the edge of the box to Zadorsky. It's now to the central centre-back of Belgian international Amber Tiziak, who was brought in last January from OH Leuven in Belgium. As a West Ham free kick's given just on this near side there. Late challenge by Melanie Leupolz, as West Ham tried to attack there. Also a little bit of a late one on Ueke by Buchanan, but the referee's given a free kick for the first foul and not the second one, as Katrina Gorey has stayed down after that foul given. Just trodden on there by Leupolz on a left foot. Will be a sore one. But Katrina Gorey, the West Ham central midfielder, did start every game for Australia at the World Cup, so she's clearly got quality. She joined in the January window from Vitso in Sweden, making her 7th start in the WSL. Katrina Gorey. Just having a bit of a stoppage here, as the Australian central midfielder does receive some treatment. I'm hoping it's something she can knock off, really, run off, because there was a little bit of contact, but, you know, studs these days and how, you know, poor the material is of the boots, they can cause some damage when you get trodden on with one of the studs. But it looks like she's going to get back to her feet here. Not really putting too much weight on it at the moment. But it's been a quite positive start for West Ham. Like I say, they should have had an equaliser there, but it was disallowed for offside when, in fact, the Japanese midfielder of Honoka Hayashi was actually onside as she put a ball into the back of the net. And then Emma Hayes here giving some instructions out to her side, just at the age of 47. Emma Hayes, born in Camden, London. She's looking to go on to new adventures after this season as she leaves Chelsea at the end of this campaign to go to America to manage the women's national team for the USA. As it looks like the players are re-emerging back onto the pitch here, as we've had some time out for Katrina Gorey for West Ham, as she was just caught by Melanie Leupolz. And they can't afford, really, to lose Katrina Gorey. She's definitely West Ham's best player, for me, from what I've seen so far. A very calm head in the midfield. Let's hope she can just walk, and then run this one off. Looks like they are readying a change, though, which isn't great. She's just trying to put some pressure on it. It would be a huge loss for West Ham if they lose their number 22 in the centre of midfield. So we're going to get back underway. Gorey's not on the pitch yet, but it's from this near side. It's going to be put into the box here by Smith. She's going to aim it towards the 18-yard box here, as the ball is delivered up towards Hampton, who collects confidently on the penalty spot. And Chelsea defend that set piece well, especially their goalkeeper Hampton, who was very certain of collecting that ball. She rolls it out to the edge of the area here to Buchanan on the Chelsea left, finds left back Charles, and then back into Buchanan here, and then goes across to the number 7 of Jess Carter, who's making appearance 135 for Chelsea today, as she joined in the summer of 2018 from Birmingham. It's now on the halfway line with Leupold for Chelsea, curling out to the left here to Charles. Still don't think Gorey's back on here for West Ham, as a short pass from Charles to Beaver Jones has been kicked out of play there by Denton. Let's say Chelsea throw-in, taken quickly here to Buchanan on the halfway line. Like I said, there's quite a few of these in here, and if you've not liked it, make sure you do. It's absolutely free, and it just takes 1 second, and it massively helps the channel out. As Lauren James here on the left wing just drops slightly deeper for the ball, goes forward and completes a 1-2 with Beaver Jones. Here's Lauren James running at goal, playing it through into the area to the left-hand side here to Newskin, who squares it across, and it can't quite reach Chankovic. It's eventually hurried away by West Ham, throwing next to the corner flag here for Chelsea on this near side. As it does look like West Ham will have to make that change. It's a big loss, losing Katrina Gorey, who was just caught by Melanie Leupold, and she's not been able to run off that knock that she's got, as she hobbles off, and she's replaced by number 7, Marika Bergman-Lundin, who was also brought in January from BK Hacken. So changing the midfield for West Ham, and it is one of their more key players, which is frustrating for the Hammers, as it's Beaver Jones towards the byline, keeps it in, just still outside the area, goes backwards here to Leupold in the corner of the box. She swings it into the penalty area, and it's hooked, it's flicked away, and it will be a corner on the far side for Chelsea. Newskin wanted to win the header, but I think she's beaten to it by Zadorsky. But Chelsea can continue their pressure as they win another set piece. It's been 20 minutes now since they opened the scoring to go 1-0 up through Aggie Beaver Jones. That's going to be an in-swinger here, left foot of Chankovic. In it goes to the centre of the box. Header away there is a good header by Tiziak for West Ham. Back to the original taker of the corner, and that's Chankovic. To a more central area here to the right back of Ashley Lawrence. It's to Jess Carter, midway side the West Ham half. She forces it out wide to the far side here, as Chelsea wants to try and get this ball back in the box if possible. Played through towards Charles on the byline. She chases it down. Can't quite get there. Ball rolls out for a West Ham goal kick. Making a quite attacking run there, Niamh Charles. I did see something on social media that Niamh Charles had to go for the doping test after the Ajax game in the week, and because the doping test took so long, she had to travel back with the Chelsea team in her full kit. She wasn't given time to change or anything, so on the plane back she had to be in a full kit, which I found quite funny, if I'm going to be honest, for the captain Niamh Charles. But she's contracted at the club now till 2027. Was part of the England World Cup team, played in the group stage against China. She's been a very important player for Chelsea this season. She started every WSL game so far. Niamh Charles, as it's West Ham on the ball in their 18-yard box with the goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold, who played every minute at the World Cup for Australia, as they were beaten in the semi-final stage to England by 3-1 in their home World Cup, as the ball goes inside from the right flank there by Zhu, given away though to Chelsea, and they've got it with their centre-half here, Buchanan, who's been forced to go back into the 18-yard box there to Hampton. But I've not watched West Ham before this season, and when you see their league position and their overall form, you just question how good they are as a team. But I've been rather impressed by them in the opening 24 minutes of this one. I think they're quite unfortunate to be behind. They've had plenty of positive moments there as Beaver Jones gives it away looking for Lauren James, but then strong tackle there by Leupold, and it's Chelsea back on the ball now with their left back Charles. Ball forward to the halfway line here to Lauren James, who's just coasting along and then playing it out to the right-hand side here to right back Lawrence. Goes forward into the West Ham half here to Ritin Carnred. Try to take on multiple West Ham players, but overruns it, and it's one back here for West Ham. It's now Hayashi out to the left here to Smith. She's got options in front of her, looks for a save, plays it too far in front of her, and it can't find the West Ham striker And it's picked up here for Chelsea by the right back of Ashley Lawrence. Need to get those passes a little bit crisper there. West Ham can't be losing it as easy as that. It looks like there could have been a promising attack on there. For the home side, as mentioned before, just the one win for them at home this season in the league for West Ham, and that came against Arsenal, which was a bit of a shock win for them back in the start of February. But they have lost 5 games at home in the WSL. But they are unbeaten in their last 2 at home, picking up that win against Arsenal, then the draw to Manchester United, which was a very positive 1-1 draw. Both of their home draws this season for West Ham have been 1-1. It's on the halfway line here with Charles on the near side, driving with the ball. And she plays it in front of Beaver Jones, who's in a left wing position in the final third, goes to the edge of the box to Loopholtz. On once more to Lauren James, who cuts onto her left foot, tries to release the ball but can't find Chankovic. And West Ham can bring it away here with Jess Zhu, drifting out to the West Ham left, finding Kirsty Smith, the left wing back. Forward it goes, down the left hand side, picked up by Carter, who can't quite avoid the throw-in. And it's a West Ham ball on the halfway line, on that far side. But at this point last season, West Ham had 4 more points. They were averaging 1 point per game at this point last season. But like I say, last season they won 1 of their last 12 in the league, West Ham, picking up 6 points from a possible 36. And the one win they picked up in that bad run at the end of the season was against Leicester away on the 21st of May. That led to the sacking of their previous manager, of Paul Konchensky, until they brought in Rhian Skinner in the summer, where things haven't really improved too much in terms of results and points on the board. If anything, it's got even worse. As it's a throw in here for West Ham in their right back position. Tiziak clearance deflected off Beaver Jones, as the Aston Villa Arsenal women's game later on has been delayed until 7:30 kickoff. The last league game for Chelsea against Arsenal was also delayed at Stamford Bridge due to a kit clash. I think the socks were the problem. Not quite sure why the Aston Villa Arsenal game's been delayed until 7:30, when we've got quite a bit of time yet until kick-off for that one. But I'll try and find out more for you on that. It just came up on the bottom of the screen there. So Chelsea have got it back now midway side their own half here with Hampton, who's just finding a bit of time outside of her own box. She drills it to the right back here of Lawrence, who goes beyond the halfway line here, playing it to her left here to Chankovic. Bit of time on the ball, finding the pass forward, and out to the left it goes towards James, cut out by Zhu, and then back to the goalkeeper of Arnold for West Ham, who takes no risks there, just gets the ball away from goal, up to the halfway line, flicked on there by Ueke. Can't quite find a strike partner of Essay, and it's dealt with there by Chelsea. It's on the edge of their box here with the number 24 of Hannah Hampton, who made the England World Cup squad in the summer. And it seems like she's in a goalkeeping 3 in the England setup now, where it's 3 very strong goalkeepers in the national team for England, as a Lawrence James shot there in the box, just passed into the bottom left corner. But it was an easy save there in the end there by Mackenzie Arnold. It was a ball down the left there to Beaver Jones, looking to return the favour to Lauren James, who set her up for the first goal. But it was a pretty timid effort in the end there by James. But as I was saying, you've got Hannah Hampton, you've got Kiara Keaton, you've got Mary Earps as well. I mean, that is a strong goalkeeping 3 there for England. And it's, for me, I know Mary Earps is brilliant, but that's a real toss of a coin of who starts for England. I know it will probably be Mary Earps, but to have Keating and Hampton as backups is rather quite the privilege for England and Serena Wiegman, as we have got another international break coming up in the women's game soon. It's Beaver Jones in the box, left-hand side, 1-2 there. Beaver Jones still has it on this byline as the cross goes in at the near post. It's an easy catch there for Mackenzie Arnold. 1-2 there between Beaver Jones and Chankovic, but the cross from the number 33 for Chelsea wasn't quite up to the necessary standard. And it's a West Ham ball now from their 18-yard box with the goalkeeper Mackenzie Arnold, who joined West Ham back in July 2020 from Chicago Red Stars. This is her 85th appearance for the Hammers. Turned 30 last month in February. Thanks to everyone who is liking and subscribing. It massively helps the channel out. As West Ham are building it out on their left-hand side, 10 yards inside the Chelsea half, but this is the Asai pass was given away. She was looking for Smith, and then Asai pulls down Cankovic, and just before the halfway line, it's a free kick for the away side here. And it's been played back to the number 7 of Jess Carter, who is making her 8th start in a row in all competitions. It's her 26th start from a possible 29. Hugely trusted by Emma Hayes is Jess Carter, the number 7. They're still with Chelsea in their own half. Buchanan being pressed by Zoo. Goes back to Hampton, who clears it down the Chelsea left beyond the halfway line, looking for Beaver Jones, who does head the ball on here for Loopolt, for Newskin, who looked to chase it, but Beaver Jones was in an offside position as Hampton played the ball forward towards her, so it's been pulled back for a free kick here for West Ham, who have been well in this game so far. Like I said, they were unfortunate to concede so early, just over a minute in through Beaver Jones. It was a nicely worked Chelsea goal, but West Ham have definitely given themselves opportunities in this one. They've had a goal already that was, for me, wrongly ruled out for offside. As it's West Ham to play out to the left-hand side, just overhit there, looking for the left wing-back of Kirsty Smith, just overhit by the early substitute of Marika Bergman-Lundin, who had to replace Katrina Gorey for an injury early on. Just overhit her pass towards Smith there. As Chelsea look to build out from the back now in their 18-yard box of Carter. Across it goes to the left back to Niamh Charles, who will bring it forward now. She's been chased down by Zoo. Passes the ball into Beaver Jones on this near side. Finds James on halfway. And then back to Charles. Well kept here for Chelsea. But in that defeat that they picked up recently to Manchester City, it ended a 21 winning streak in the league at home for Chelsea. It also ended a 32-game unbeaten run at home in the WSL. Their last defeat was February 2021 against Brighton. You know, going 3 years without defeats in the league at home is something rather extraordinary, and it almost kind of signifies the magnitude of the win for Manchester City to go to such a place where, you know, Chelsea just don't really lose that often, and go and win that game and really put themselves in the title race is probably a game that would be looked back on. If Manchester City go and win their first WSL since 2016, it'll be that win away at Chelsea, which would probably be the game that won them the title. As Chelsea clear up to the halfway line, it's a good ball down the right-hand side here. Beaver Jones switching the left wing for the right wing. Can she keep it away from Zadorsky? No, she can't. Runs out of pitch on the far side. Good defending there by West Ham's number 14 of Shalina Zadorsky, who worked under manager Rhian Skinner at Tottenham, her parent club. As the throw goes back here to Zadorsky. She's going to be forced to the goalkeeper Arnold in the 18-yard box onto her right foot in the 6-yard area. Time on the ball here for West Ham's number 1. And she'll go to the right-hand side to Shimizu. Back into Arnold, being closed down by Beaver Jones. Just about shifts it there to Shimizu as Arnold goes down as the ball was played back to Shimizu. But the goalkeeper's back to her feet, and West Ham lose the ball through Denton. Being closed down there quite aggressively by Charles, but it forced her into the error. As Mackenzie Arnold has really felt that one, and she's gone back down here, the West Ham goalkeeper. As Beaver Jones was just closing her down. Just caught, just trod on her left foot by accident. Wasn't intentional there by Beaver Jones, as in fairness, the West Ham goalkeeper Arnold did delay that pass quite a bit there. She was running the risk of being intercepted there with a pass, but she was able to get the pass off, but was caught unfortunately. But she's back to her feet, the West Ham goalkeeper, and it's a Chelsea throw in the final third. This near side, Charles has it back from the throw towards the byline. Left-footed cross goes in, it bounces, and it's cleared by Zadorsky. Up into the air, headed back into the box there by Loopolt. It falls to Lauren James eventually. Edge of the box to Ciankovic, who will look to strike it to the top right corner, but it's always rising over the crossbar. Was never going to come down in time there for Chelsea number 28 of Helena Ciankovic, the Serbian attacking midfielder, who joined the club last summer from Rosengard. Just the third start for Ciankovic in the WSL. Started against Everton in November and Leicester in March, and then once again this month against West Ham. As it's on the far side for West Ham, they clear it with their centre-back of Zadorsky forward towards their striker of Ueke. But she lost out to Jess Carter, and it's now in the West Ham half. On the far side for Chelsea with right back Lawrence. Forward here to Ritin Karmrid. Inside to Newskin. 1-2 with Ritin Karmrid. Last touch off the Chelsea winger. And that'll be a goal kick for West Ham. Just too heavy of a touch there by Johanna Ritin Karmrid, the Swedish winger. Who's making a 20th start of the season in all competitions. So the goalkeeper here for West Ham, Mackenzie Arnold. 10 minutes left of the first half. She plays it out to the left. It's a high ball to the halfway line, headed forward by Lawrence. Too easy for the Chelsea right back. That header was just free for her to take. And now they've worked it to the left-hand side here. Beaver Jones into Newskin. Can't go back to Luke Poltz. The pass is away from her. And West Ham can try and break as it drops to Ueke, who's charging down the West Ham right. She's going to go for an early strike, and it's just clipped off the crossbar. That would have been something special there by Rico Ueke. From around 25 yards out, went for that early strike. It looked like she was going to take it on, and I was questioning her decision-making as she was running at Buchanan. Hampton was slightly off the line, but not that much to take on that shot so early. But it was rising. It was trying to get back down in time, but it's just gone off the top of the crossbar as it nearly hit that top right corner. Very unfortunate there by Ueke, the Japanese striker, as West Ham have had chances. They really have. It's not been a bad first half for West Ham, despite the scoreline seeing them fall behind. As it's Chelsea with Hampton on the ball. The goalkeeper goes long with a left foot in behind the West Ham defence. Newskin's going to chase this one down, but Shimizu just got there first for West Ham on the edge of the box, and she just pokes it back to the goalkeeper of Mackenzie Arnold there. Playing that higher position at the moment, Sioke Newskin in the midfield for Chelsea. And there's no surprise she is, with her in goal-scoring form at the moment for Newskin. She's got back-to-back braces at the moment, scored twice against Arsenal in the league, and then scored twice in the Champions League in midweek against Ajax. And that is Chelsea's next game, the second leg against Ajax of the last 16 tie. As it is Chelsea away, Ritin Karmrid in the final third, on the right wing, running at Zadorsky. In the box, she goes trying to pull the ball back there towards Newskin, who's nowhere near the German midfielder. And Chelsea win it back through Newskin on the edge of the box, though. And it's now with Beaver Jones, back to goal. Finds Lupoltz through the gap, looking for Charles. It's well defended, though, by Denton for West Ham. And Zhu goes down the right here to Ueke. Back to Zhu, just inside the West Ham half. She crosses the halfway line on this near side. Finds Ueke again. Goes across to her left here. And it's West Ham to try and go down the far side now here with Zadorsky. It's now left wing back, Kirsty Smith. Better room to run into in front of her. She's midway inside the Chelsea half. She runs into Lawrence and she's forced to go back to Zadorsky. It's now with the number 7 of Bergman London, who turns away beautifully there from Ritin Karmrid. And finds Hayashi forward to Asei. Controls it well. Keeps the ball away from Lupoltz at the moment. And Asei for West Ham. Down the left-hand side. Just tackled on the edge of the box there by Lawrence. Asei's touch just gone away from her. Allowing the tackle there for Chelsea at the back. And it's with the away side in possession now. And the Arsenal kickoff time has been delayed due to the fact that there is disruption travel-wise. So Arsenal are basically going to arrive at the game late. So they've had to push the kickoff time back. Disruptions travelling for Arsenal's team. So a bit of a later kickoff. Thank you to all these likes. It's fantastic to see 12 likes. See how many subscribers we've got as well now. See if we've gained any more subscribers. As we've got loads of commentaries coming next week after the international break. So make sure you stick around at half time so I can let you know exactly which commentaries will be taking place. There's West Ham. Find Ueke. Lays it off to the right here to Denton. Midway side the Chelsea half on this near side. She's got Charles right in front of her. Forced to go back here into the West Ham half here to Shimizu. And back forward again down that right-hand side towards Denson, who will let Zoo take over. And she tries to find Denson as she continued to run down that right-hand side. Charles got her body behind the ball and was brought down by by Anouk Denson. And that is a free kick for Chelsea. Yeah, 1,246 subscribers. That is fantastic. If we can get 4 more subscribers and get it to 1,250, that will be greatly appreciated. As we've been treated to a great game. I've really enjoyed this game. It's been high quality. It's been quite even as well. In terms of chances, West Ham have had their opportunities. They took one, but it was disallowed for offside. And they could have another one here. Hayashi on the edge of the area. Works it to the left there to Asai. They'd rather have her in the box, but she's going to be here delivering it in. And then the cross is kicked away there by Lawrence. Good defending there by the Canadian right back. And the clearance goes to the West Ham half hit. Just on the halfway line now with Shimizu. It's now Tiziak. Forced to go back to the edge of the box here to Arnold. That's now with Shimizu. The West Ham right centre back of the back three. He's now on this near side here with Denton. Back into Shimizu for West Ham United. When these two sides met earlier this season in the league, it was a victory for Chelsea. It was a 2-0 win with goals from Kerr and Cuthbert. And then they also met in the FA Cup 4th round, where it was a 1-1 game after 90 minutes, but it took extra time for Chelsea to get through in that one at home. So it does show that West Ham are able to really match Chelsea this season. A 2-0 defeat away at Chelsea in the league, that's nothing to be ashamed of. And to take them to extra time in the FA Cup away from home as well does show that West Ham can do it against this Chelsea side. As it's now on the halfway line, Ritin Karmad brings the ball down, forward here into Newskin. Can't lay it off here into the run of Chankovic. It's well won back there by Zadorski. And West Ham go back to their goalkeeper of Mackenzie Arnold, who was born on the Gold Coast in Australia, Queensland. Like I say, her move to West Ham in 2020 was her only English club that she's ever played for. Now the captain of the club, which is a good achievement for the goalkeeper, as Chelsea have got it on this near side here, with the ball finding Lauren James, who goes back into a defensive third, with Buchanan now, central area to Leupold. Out to the right back of Lawrence, still inside the Chelsea half at the moment, as it's with their number 7, of Jess Carter, who won PFA Young Player of the Year back in 2017. She's now a very experienced 26-year-old, Jess Carter, who is integral to this Chelsea team, as they are still going on all 4 fronts. Chelsea in competitions are in the League Cup final against Arsenal. They're in the FA Cup semi-final to a struggling Manchester United. And they're also, obviously, looks like they will be in the Champions League last 8, if it's not for a catastrophic loss at home in the second leg against Ajax, as they have a 3-0 lead going into that second leg. As Chelsea still have it in their own half here, with their number 26 of Kadisha Buchanan, who is a 3-time Canadian Player of the Year. She goes long and in behind, looking for Lauren James. Just too much for Lauren James to get there, and it'll be a goal kick for West Ham. It says a lot when it's too much for Lauren James to get on the end of a pass, because her pace is rather electric. Chelsea's number 10, who is on 15 for the season in all competitions. She only got 8 in all competitions in the entirety of last season. Just shows how much her game's come on this season, the 22-year-old. Goal kick taken short and out to the right here by West Ham to Shimizu. Now Denton into the midfield here, and it's a pass back which has gone straight to Lauren James on the byline. She has to cross it. It's a deeper one to the far post, header away all as far as Newskin, who can't get it away from one West Ham player, and then eventually West Ham can take it away here with Bergman Lundin, the midfielder, looking for Ueke up front. She can't quite control it. Carter gets there first on the far side. She clears it down the line, out of play, throwing for West Ham. They did well to work that ball away there eventually in the end, the West Ham midfielder, Bergman Lundin. But they're going to show another replay of that disallowed goal, and it just shouldn't have been disallowed. It's as simple as that. Hayashi is well onside. It was a good finish well on the 6-yard line. Hampton came out for it, but Hayashi got there first. And put the ball under her legs and into the back of the net as West Ham are in here, and the shot goes well over the crossbar. What an opportunity for Vivian Asseyi on a 50th West Ham appearance, as they were showing a replay of a goal that should have stood for West Ham. We return to the action where they should have had their first of the game for sure. Great ball through by Hayashi, who had that first goal disallowed. Brilliant ball in behind for Asseyi, and it looks like it may have just bobbled in front of her as she went to strike it. Got well underneath the ball and well over the crossbar, but again, it should have been at least on target as a minimum. She's so much better than that. Asseyi, the striker, who's currently got 4 goals in her last 6 in the league, but just got underneath the ball there. And Chelsea want a second before the break. We've had 4 minutes of added on time, but as Aggie Beaver-Jones received the ball there, she was flagged for offside. Like I say, they were showing the replays of the disallowed goal, and then they returned to the action, and Asseyi was in the box looking to score, but just completely got under the ball and fired it over the crossbar. West Ham have had their chances, and that is a bit of an understatement. They've had plenty of opportunities, West Ham. They've had that disallowed goal, they've had that chance for Asseyi early on in the game. Smith had a chance as well, the wing back. So it's not to say that West Ham can't get something from this game if it remains 1-0. You know, they've had plenty of opportunities. West Ham go down the left here. Good bit of work here. Or it's just gone out of play. Flicking behind there by Ueke, looking for Smith. Couldn't quite get on the end of it there, the West Ham wing back. And it's now thrown midway side the Chelsea half with their right back of Lawrence. So is it back here to Carter. It's now to the goalkeeper of Hampton in the 6-yard box. Hampton will spring it forward ever so slightly as we've played 90 seconds of the 4 minutes of added on time here at the end of the first half, where Chelsea lead 1-0 at the moment. Since the West Ham half here, Newskin finds Beaver-Jones, a touch runs it out of play. Throwing for West Ham. It's not quite on it there with the first touch there. Aggie Beaver-Jones, the difference maker at the moment in this game. She is the reason that Chelsea lead this one by a 1-0. It's now with the left centre half of the back three for West Ham of Zadorsky. It's on the edge of the box to Amber Tisiak, the Belgium centre-back, who was a secondary school teacher before making it in the professional game here at West Ham back in January of 2023. She's only making a 19th appearance for the club as well, despite being at West Ham for well over a year now. But when she joined, she was hit by injury pretty soon, but she's been a regular this season, for the majority anyway. It's on the halfway line. Asseyi allows Hayashi to bring the ball down. Plays it to her left here. Needs to find the pass if possible. With West Ham attacking down the left. There's a shove in the back there by Ritin Kamrad. And that will be a free kick. Right, smile there by Ritin Kamrad, who knows that she probably went in a bit too hard there on the West Ham striker of Ueke. Not really a shoulder in the back there. It's more of just an elbow, shoulder shove. Can't really say that was a shoulder barge. It was a bit more aggressive than that. But right before the break, just over a minute left of additional time, free kick for West Ham on the left wing position. Brilliant opportunity to get the ball in the box. Chelsea's defensive line is on the 18-yard box. It looks like it's going to be a delivery here from number 2, Kirsty Smith, who will cross the ball in here. It's come off the chest of a Chelsea player and cleared eventually there, I believe, by Chankovic. But it'll be re-delivered here by Hayashi for West Ham. He wants to get the ball back in the box. She puts it in. Header won by Jess Carter. Still alive in the box. Put in the air by Charles. Forward it goes for Chelsea. Headed forward by Smith, though, for West Ham on the halfway line to keep it away from James. And West Ham will attack down the right-hand side again. It's Zadorsky, the left-footed centre-back, on a weaker side, and she delivers it in with a weaker foot as Asseyi went for the overhead kick. Got nowhere near the ball in the end, and the free kick's gone against her for a bit of a high boot there. With the acrobatic attempt there by Vivian Asseyi. That would have been some goal on her 50th West Ham appearance. Yeah, just her boot was a bit too close to the face of Chelsea's Ashley Lawrence at right back. As we played the 4 added on, we're going to get this Hampton free kick, and I'm sure we'll get the half-time whistle from the referee, and that is what we'll get from Megan Wilson. It is a half-time whistle, which puts Chelsea in front at the break. A goal in the 2nd minute by Aggie Beaver-Jones. It was assisted by Lauren James. And the Chelsea number 33, in just her second start of the season in the WSL, found the back of the net. It's the second of the season against West Ham. And it gave Chelsea an early lead, but West Ham have been well within the game. They scored in the 15th minute themselves through central midfielder Hanoka Hayashi, who got on the end of a flick on by Ueke, and she struck the ball in the back of the net from 6 yards out, but it was given as offside, when actually from replays it did show that Hayashi was onside, so it was a rather fortunate moment for Chelsea with that goal not standing, and it remained 1-0, but Chelsea have lacked real clear-cut chances in the first half since the goal. It's been West Ham who have really been at it with the chances and with the opportunities. Like I say, we've had a disallowed goal. We've had Kirsty Smith miss from 6 yards out. Essay put one over the crossbar as well. We've had Rico Ueke who hit the crossbar with about 5 minutes left of the first half. West Ham have had plenty of chances. Chelsea have just been slightly more clinical, and that's put them in the lead at the moment. At half-time here at Victoria Road, it is West Ham 0, Chelsea 1. Don't know if anyone else is watching the game, but I think West Ham have been very unfortunate to not be at least level, if not better off, really, in all honesty. I've been really impressed, like I say, hitting the crossbar through Ueke. Kirsty Smith, right near the start of the game, should have at least made it 1-1. She had a free shot at the far post from 6 yards out. Say put one over the crossbar as well, not too long before the end of the first half as well. So West Ham have had plenty of chances, probably better chances than Chelsea, but it is the league leaders at the moment who are top of the league and ahead in the game. I'm just gonna go just fill it to you a second. I'm just gonna quickly blow my nose and then I'll be back. Just give me just 2 seconds. Sorry, I do apologise for that. If I do sound a little bit not well, then it's because I've just got I wouldn't say blocked nose, because I can breathe just a bit of a snotty nose. So my voice just sounds a bit not well. So I do apologise if that's slightly irritating, but can't really do too much about it. But yeah, thanks to everyone who has been here. We've got some very healthy numbers in the live stream, which is great to see, especially for the women's game as well. But I'm going to go through the upcoming commentaries for next week, so make sure you just stick around and listen to which ones I'll be doing, and if any of them take your fancy. I'm just going to get them up here for myself so I can read them out. So, next week, after the international break, on the Good Friday, we have Wrexham against Mansfield, a clash near the top of League 2. That is a really, really important game in League 2. Wrexham Mansfield, I'd highly recommend checking that one out. I think that could be a really dramatic game. And the day after, on the Saturday, we've got Aston Villa against Wolves in the Premier League. That's a 5:30 kickoff. The day after, on the Sunday, we've got Liverpool Brighton, a big game in the Premier League title race. And then the day after that, on the Monday, we have got Leeds against Hull. I believe that's an 8 o'clock kickoff. So we have got 4 commentaries in a row at the end of next week. So from Friday all the way through to the Monday, we have got live commentary coming to you. So make sure you subscribe and liking, because we've always got commentaries on this channel. Unless it's a international break in the men's game, we usually have commentaries at 3 or 4 minimum every week. Just the one this week though, just due to the fact that that it's an international break for the men's game. Like I say, I would have done the Manchester derby yesterday, commentated on that, but I was there, so couldn't quite commentate on the Manchester United derby yesterday. But yeah, we've got 4 commentaries all in a row next week, so make sure you subscribe for that. A wide variety of commentaries as well, covering the National League, the Premier League and the Championship within those 4 commentaries, so covering all different kinds of competition as well. But at the moment in this one, it is West Ham who trail by a 1-0 at home. But they have been well within the game and are rather unfortunate not to be level. Minimum. You know, they could see themselves as quite unlucky not to be leading as well, really, because, the crossbar, they've had a good 2 chances in the 18-yard box, put wide and one over the crossbar. But a win for West Ham, if they are somehow able to turn it around, could put them up to 10th, and they could leapfrog Everton, who drew earlier on today against Liverpool in the Merseyside derby at Goodison Park. But they need to do something, West Ham, because they're showing right now that they can do it. They can perform well. It's just the results aren't quite correlating to their performances, which isn't really that great. It's another game at home with no clean sheet for them in the league. They've not picked up any clean sheets this season. At home, just the one clean sheet altogether in the league this season. That was Brighton away in early October. But they've got a game against Brighton next for West Ham, and that is at home. And Brighton did win today, 3-2 against Leicester away, which is a really strong win there for Brighton, and that's leapfrogged them above Leicester. So Brighton are now up to 8th in the table, so that's going to be a challenging one for West Ham. And then they've got to travel to to Manchester to play Manchester City, and then they've got Aston Villa away as well. So, there's not really easy games in this division, but there are some difficult fixtures for West Ham. And then for Chelsea, they've got to welcome Ajax in the week for their second leg of the Champions League last 16 tie. Then they've got the League Cup final next week as well against Arsenal. Then they've got the FA Cup semi-final against Manchester United after the international break. So, huge month coming up for Chelsea, which could really decide their season, really. It's 3 games that aren't WSL games as well, which is pretty crazy. Champions League, League Cup and FA Cup. But if they are to, lose the League Cup and FA Cup games, then a quadruple then becomes a double, and then confidence may be hit, and panic buttons might start being hit as well. So it's a big month for Chelsea. If it goes right, then they are really on for a very successful season. They want to make it 5 WSL titles in a row. Chelsea have won 6 of the last 7 WSL titles. They are the real powerhouse team in this division. I think that's pretty fair to say. But that guard could change with Emma Hayes leaving. I think it'll be very interesting to see which direction Chelsea goes, because at the end of the day, Chelsea have just got a brilliant squad. So I can't imagine them not being in a title race next season. But are they going to be as consistent as they are under Emma Hayes? Will they have maybe a few more dips than they usually have? It'll just be interesting because, Emma Hayes has been at the club since August 2012 now. Well over, coming up to, it would have been 12 years in August of this year that she's been at the club. That's you just get familiar with a manager, you get comfortable, and then a change can just bring some discontent at times. But we'll have to just wait and see. A new manager could come in for Chelsea, and they just carry on like they've been for the last 10 years and continue having success. But it can also go the other way as well for Chelsea, where they may slightly fall off. But I think that's just the excitement of the change for Chelsea for next season. The fact that there will be no Emma Hayes. But the second half of this game will be getting underway shortly, as West Ham are searching for a first ever win against Chelsea in this fixture. They did draw once, and that was in their second ever meeting, which was a 1-1 draw in March 2019 when these two sides met last season. It was a 3-1 home win in the league for Chelsea, and then they beat them in the League Cup semi-final away from home here. They won 7-0 Chelsea, 4 goals from Sam Kerr, and then goals from Fran Kirby, Lauren James and Guro Reiten. And then they also came back here again for a second time and won in the league by 4-0. So it's definitely been closer, the meetings between these two this season compared to last season. They gave them a few batterings last season, Chelsea, especially here at West Ham's home ground of Victoria Road, the home of National League side Dagenham and Redbridge. If you are new and you haven't liked or subscribed yet, make sure you please do. Massively helps out the channel, as we are coming towards the end of the club season now. Not too far away. about 2 months left of club football, and then we've got the Euros coming up in the summer, which should be some good fun to cover on this channel. But as well, for Chelsea, it is that Champions League that is slightly eluding them a little bit. They're yet to win the Champions League. They got to the semi-finals last season against Barcelona. They have reached a final before and also lost it as well. They did win the FA Cup though. They won the FA Cup 1-0 at Wembley against Manchester United. They were defeated in the League Cup final against Arsenal, and it's a repeat of that this season again. They play Arsenal next week in the League Cup final as well. So it was only a double for Chelsea last season, and they have currently got a quadruple on, which, like I say, is very impressive to still have a quadruple on coming towards the final week of March. But it can all go wrong. A couple of losses, and it all goes away. Prime example is Manchester City. They were after a treble, Manchester City, but they lost in the League Cup semi-final to Chelsea, then lost in the FA Cup quarter-final on penalties to Spurs, and now Manchester City just have the WSL to win, which could go in their favour, just having one trophy to focus on. But it means they can only win one trophy, and it might just be the one thing that maybe kind of just halts Chelsea a little bit, just slows them down, just quite simply having so many games could just hinder them a little bit, having to rotate a lot, having to use all their squad. But they've got a terrifically big squad full of talent. Chelsea, just their bench is absolutely disgusting in terms of just the sheer brilliance of players. They've got Aaron Cuthbert on the bench, Fran Kirby, Katerina Macario, who they brought in from Lyon. She's currently coming back from an ACL injury. She started off quite well. Guro Reiten, Myra Ramirez. I mean, that is just an absolutely ridiculously strong bench. So even if this second half goes maybe wrong for Chelsea, if West Ham get an equaliser, then Chelsea have definitely got players to call upon off the bench to try and put things right. So yeah, as mentioned before, the later kickoff in this game, and I would have commentated on this on the other WSL game if I knew kickoff was going to be delayed. But the Aston Villa Arsenal WSL game, the later one after this one, has been delayed. The kickoff has been delayed till 7:30. But at the moment, Chelsea lead here 1-0, and they lead the league title by one goal. They are on the same points as Manchester City. They've got one better goal difference. They've scored 4 more goals than Manchester City, which I think will be a fantastic stat to be ahead on, personally, for Chelsea, because it could go down to goal difference and it could go down to goals scored. So, although they'll just be happy with the win today, Chelsea, if they could score a few goals as well, I think that will massively help them out in terms of trying to win this 5th WSL title in a row. But the second half is going to be getting underway very shortly. West Ham are back out for the second half. Chelsea were first out, but West Ham are also back out as well for the second half here. So make sure you don't go anywhere now. Stick around as we've got the second half here at Victoria Road as Chelsea lead by 1-0. Scored in the second minute by Aggie Beaver Jones, who scored against West Ham last season in her loan spell at Everton. She's also scored against them this season before against West Ham in the FA Cup. So it's obviously a club she likes to face, Aggie Beaver Jones. And she's got her side leading at the moment, as it'll be Chelsea kicking off, kicking left to right, West Ham right to left. will get kicked off by Chelsea's Chankovic. And she plays the ball back here to Jess Carter, who will send it long down the left-hand side. It's a high ball. It's a header won by Tiziak. Played out to the left there for Chelsea by Newskin. It'll go towards James, hooked away by Denton. And it's a Chelsea throw-in on the far side on the halfway line as we are back underway here for the second half between West Ham and Chelsea. In the WSL as the title race is hotting up more so than ever now, with two clubs neck and neck. As the ball drops here for West Ham's Kirsty Smith, turns away from Aggie Beaver-Jones. Tackled by Newskin, but the loose ball drops here for Shimizu for West Ham. It goes back to the goalkeeper of Arnold, who can clear it down the West Ham right. It's stopped by Charles, and it'll be kept in by the captain, who plays it down the left-hand side. Lauren James will chase it, but the ball just rolls out of play for a West Ham throw-in. In their right-back area here on the far side. It's going to be taken by Anouk Denton. Former Arsenal defender in a youth. Denton. That's from the throw-in. Chelsea win the ball back. And they get a throw-in of their own. Kicked out of play by Denton. So throw-in here for West Ham in the final third as Rhiann Skinner, the West Ham manager, returns towards the bench. And it'll be Chelsea with the throw. We need Charles to take it. Throw goes towards the byline. It can't quite be controlled by Lauren James. It's dealt with here by Tiziak on the corner flag here for West Ham. She clears it. Headed back forward, though, by Charles. Again, loose touch there by Lauren James. And Shimizu just kicks the ball out of play for West Ham, not taking any risks there. And it's another throw in the final third here for Chelsea. Not quite got back into the swing of things at the start of this second half there. Lauren James just not quite being able to control the ball twice. As Charles gets the return from the throw-in by James. Here is Charles. Leupolz. Back here to the halfway line to Carter. Forward to Chankovic. Then out to the left here to Buchanan. Plenty of time on the ball here for Chelsea's number 26. It's now down the wing here. And it's into James. Looking for Ritin Karnrid, who will take over, but tackled by Tiziak on the edge of the box. It's now with Hayashi. Forward to Asei, who tries to look for the Japanese striker there of Ueke, but it deflects and it goes forward for Chelsea. It's now over Ritin Karnrid. Back here into Lauren James in a bit of a deeper position on the left-hand side. She's got Denton following her every way, but James can work across into the box. It's a lovely cross, and it's a header that's gone wide by Aggie Beaver-Jones. It was towards the far post. It was in the 6-yard box. If she could have just worked it on target there, Beaver-Jones, it could have been some potential issues for West Ham. Just so effortless, though, from Lauren James. It's almost like she's not even trying, but the cross is so much quality. And Beaver-Jones won the header, but like I say, couldn't direct it on target in the end. As it's flicked on by Hayashi. Headed away by Charles. It's on the halfway line for West Ham. Asei keeps it in. Denton takes over. Tackled, though, there well by Chankovic. And it's Chelsea back on the ball in their own half here with their left-back Charles, who will go back to Hampton here in the 18-yard box. Has to clear it first time with the left foot. It's a strong clearance to the halfway line. Goes over the head of Lauren James. Volleyed away by Denton. Controlled by Buchanan. Gets away from her and Hayashi plays it through. Ueke's in. Hampton's out of a goal. She tries to go around her, but the flag's gone up again. And I don't know if she was offside there. Rico Ueke. Buchanan with the heavy touch. I think she's onside. Another poor call there from the officials. I think Ueke's well on. And I think Niamh Charles knew it, the captain. But she wasn't complaining when that flag went up. Two decisions that have gone against West Ham. That one didn't get in the back of the net in the end. Ueke didn't finish it off as she was flagged. But it looks like she was going to be able to round the goalkeeper there, Hampton. But flag went up again. Poor decision-making from the officials, but it's going in Chelsea's favour at the moment. There's Lauren James in the box, left-hand side, towards the byline, squares it across. It goes all the way through towards Lawrence at right back, who's got forward in the box, but she can't quite take it on. Cleared in the end by West Ham's Kirsty Smith. And it'll be a throw-in for Chelsea. Just another offside call that's not gone West Ham's way, unfortunately. Sometimes there's just very little you can actually do when the assistant referees don't give you the right decision. on the halfway line with Chelsea, with their central centre-back here at the moment of Buchanan. Carter forward. It's now laid off to Lou Pulse. Can't quite find Newskin. And it's now played towards Zoo. Her touch gets away from her. And it's picked up by Buchanan in the centre circle. Chelsea back on the ball here. It's the left back, Charles. Brings it forward. Space to run into here for Charles. Finds Ritten Cameron. Inside to Beaver Jones. Lays it off for James. Touch is too heavy. Passes too heavy. Can't quite find James. It's now Hayashi. Tackled by Chankovic. Fairly according to the referee. And it's now with Chankovic. Plays it through for James. Lauren James from afar. Will she strike it? She'll play out to the left instead here in the final third to Ritten Cameron. 1-on-1 with Denton in the box. Cameron can't quite get it onto her right foot there. Tackled by Denton. And it's a corner kick on the far side for Chelsea. Well won there by Ritten Cameron, who usually plays on the right wing. The Swedish 27-year-old, but just finding herself on the left-hand side at the moment, early on in this second half. Outswinger. Ball goes in. 6-yard box. It's flicked on by Tiziak. Really good defensive header there from the West Ham centre-back. Still alive here, though, for Chelsea. On the right wing position. Lou Pultz will put it back into the area, and it's put in towards goal. But it's a foul there, as Niamh Charles went to try and volley the ball in the back of the net. She committed a foul with her strike. Just taking down Amber Tiziak. Good ball into the near post there by Lou Pultz, and Tiziak was brave, putting her head where it hurts and winning the free kick for a team. As West Ham play out from the back here, it's with the number 7, Bergman London. So Zadorsky forward down the left here for a say. Holds the ball up, plays it in here to Bergman London, who will get away from Chankovic beyond the halfway line. Down the West Ham left, it's played through here for Ueke, who's kept herself onside this time. No, she hasn't. Flag goes up again. Not as many complaints here from the Japanese striker, so maybe at this time the offside call was right from the assistant referee on that far side. So it's Chelsea on the ball outside their 18-yard box here with goalkeeper Hannah Hampton, who's going to clear this ball long down the Chelsea right. It'll be given chase to here by Beaver Jones. Zadorsky for West Ham will get there first. Keeps it away from Beaver Jones and finds Smith. Back to Zadorsky with Smith once again. Clears it low to the edge of the box here. Helped on by Hayashi. Looking for Asai, who holds it up away from Carter. Still in the West Ham half. Lays it back off here into Smith. Then into the defensive third here with Zadorsky. Clears it first time with a left foot. Looking for the central midfielder there of Bergman London, but a touch just escapes her. And Chelsea have it back. Chankovic through here into Beaver Jones on the right wing. Just outside the area at the moment. Plays it back here into Chankovic. It's now into Jess Carter. Back out to Chankovic. She's got loads of time here on the right-hand side. She's going to run at Smith. And plays it through for the runner Lawrence towards the byline. She's got back to goal at the moment. Plays it back to Chankovic, who then delivers the ball in. Header won by Tiziak for West Ham. Away it goes. Headed back forward there by Buchanan out to the Chelsea left, where the head has got too much power on it for Ritten Cameron. And that'll be a Chelsea throw-in the right back area on that far side. As Emma Hayes clearly either isn't happy or just wants to freshen it up here. She's going to make 2 changes. Just 10 minutes into the second half. And we're going to see Helena Chankovic brought off for Erin Cuthbert. So that's the first change. Erin Cuthbert, very usually always a starter, but due to playing in midweek, she was brought to the bench today. And the second change, we'll see Sioke Newskin, who's scored back-to-back braces for Chelsea. She will be replaced by Katarina Macario, the American attacking midfielder who spent 21 months out injured with an ACL injury, and she's just returned this month And in her 4 games for Chelsea, she's got the 2 goals already. 1 in the league against Leicester away, 6 minutes into her debut for Chelsea. She was brought in the summer, even though she had the ACL injury. And she's also scored in the FA Cup against Everton. So they took a risk signing Macario, as she was injured with an ACL problem. But they brought her in the summer from Lyon, continued her rehabilitation, and they're reaping the rewards as she's on form at the moment for Chelsea, as she's returning back to playing football again. As West Ham win it back on the edge of the box, Hayashi taking it away from Lauren James, then being bundled over by Beaver Jones, and that'll be a West Ham free kick. She's been really good in that centre of midfield today. Hanoka Hayashi, the central midfielder for West Ham, brought in last season from Swedish football. There's the free kick taken long by Arnold, headed forward by Niamh Charles, but it's won back in the midfield here for West Ham. Down the right flank, gone out of play, throwing on the halfway line for Chelsea. Couldn't quite find a teammate there, Bergman Lundin. The substitute, which was made in the first half for West Ham, it was a forced one. She replaced Katrina Gorey, the Australian midfielder, who went off with a slight knock. It's now Chelsea, halfway line, near side. Lawrence needs to keep the ball away from Smith, and she finds Macario, who's been tackled by Zadorsky, who flicks it forward, can't quite find Asai, and it's back in Chelsea possession here with Cuthbert. Then number 22 switches out to the left here to Niamh Charles. She's got Zoo closing her down here, but Niamh Charles will play it forward towards Ritting Carmrid. Tackled by Denson, but Charles wins it back, and it falls for Lauren James here on the edge of the box. Right-footed, strikes it towards that far corner, but it's always going wide in the end. Just needed a bit more conviction on the shot there, Lauren James. Who's already got the 13 goals so far this season in the league. Scored her first Champions League goal of the season in the last game against Ajax. She put them 1-0 up in that one at the Netherlands. As we've got a bit of technical issues there with the referee, but quickly sorted out, and the referee Megan Wilson's back on the field of play. And we're going to get back underway here. As it's still just the one at the moment. West Ham haven't quite been as dangerous in this second half as they were in the first, but any result's possible when you're 1-0 down. Anything can happen, a mistake, a set piece could get West Ham back in this game. They have lost it on halfway though. Kirsty Smith not strong enough there. One back there by Kadisha Buchanan for Chelsea. It's now on the edge of their box here with Hampton. Goes to a left to Carter. Forward to Lupoltz, who keeps it away from West Ham's Rico Ueke. And it's now with Chelsea in their own half, with their number 7 of Jess Carter. Sorry, I needed to sneeze then, and I never came. Oh, it's gone. Sorry about that. Oh, you know when you need to sneeze and it just disappears? Oh, I see. Very annoying. But Chelsea still have it in their own half here with Lupoltz, the number 8 German midfielder, who gave birth back in October 2022, last season, returned in the winter camp. And she's been quite the regular starter recently, since returning back from injury. She was out injured from October to December this season. She's now started 6 of the last 7 league games, Melanie Lupoltz. Throwing for Chelsea here in the final third, far side, Ritting Carmrid throws it into Macario. Got Shimizu on a back, finds Ritting Carmrid, then forward to Beaver Jones. Fantastic turn, lays it off edge of the box. Cuthbert moves it onto her right here to Buchanan. It's now with Ashley Lawrence at right back, in a right wing position, running at Kirsty Smith in the area towards the byline. Lawrence chips it to the far post, and it's gone off the crossbar and out for a goal kick. Not the worst of attempts there by Ashley Lawrence, who likes to get forward from that right back position. The Canadian 28-year-old who was brought in this summer from PSG. She was rested in midweek against Ajax, and she's been brought back in today. As West Ham from the goal kick lose out on the halfway line to Charles for Chelsea. It's now back with Hampton on the edge of the 18-yard box. She clears it out to the right wing here. A lot of height on the ball there by Hampton. Headed forward for West Ham by Smith. Picked up though for Chelsea by Lupoltz. Beaver Jones into Macario. Deflected pass, can't quite find Lauren James. Dealt with there by Kirsty Smith for West Ham. And they lose it in the midfield, though. Poor ball there by their centre-back of Tiziak. And Chelsea have it once again in the centre circle with Cuthbert. Keeps it away from one West Ham player, but loses out to another. And that's Hayashi, who finds Asei, who can't quite get away from Leupolz. Good tackle there by the German midfielder. And she wants to set off the counter-attack quickly. Brilliant ball out to the left here to Ritin Cameron. Entering the box, out-muscling Denton. Ritin Cameron still has it. Forced to the edge of the box here to Cuthbert. Keeps it away from Hayashi. And it's Chelsea who remain on the ball. But West Ham have done well just to simmer down that attack. Because Ritin Cameron could have easily got away there on the left-hand side. It's now Macario for Chelsea. On the right-hand side. Delivers it in. Far post. Over the head of Beaver Jones. But it's controlled here towards the corner flag by Ritin Cameron. Tries to turn away from Denton. Finds Lauren James. Keeps it away from Tiziak. Still with Lauren James. Almost tackled by Zhu. But still has it here, Lauren James. Plays it to her right here towards Cuthbert. Goes beyond her and finds Leupolz. And then eventually played into Cuthbert. It's on the halfway line with Buchanan. A lot more possession in this second half for Chelsea. Seems like they're not giving West Ham a sniff at the moment. Hampton for Chelsea. Long forward. Comes off Zadorsky. Kept away of Macario. It's now Smith out to the left here for West Ham. Asei holds it up. She's got Kadisha Buchanan on her back. She plays it into Hayashi, who runs out of pitch on this near side. Well tackled as well by Leupolz. It's going to be another double change here for Chelsea. 5 minutes after their first double change. It's going to be Fran Kirby and Myra Ramirez to come on. So Myra Ramirez will be replaced here by Aggie Beaver Jones. Aggie Beaver Jones, who is currently the match winner at the moment for Chelsea, scoring that goal in the second minute. And the second change, we'll see Lauren James replaced by Fran Kirby. You know, that is just ridiculous replacements to have on your bench. Myra Ramirez and Fran Kirby. It's not quite been on it today, I don't think, Lauren James, since providing the assist for the first goal. It's almost like she just thought that her job was done. I'm not too sure. But she provided a great assist for the first goal, but just everything that Lauren James was doing just seemed a little bit lackadaisical. And obviously she's played a lot of football recently, you know, starting the game against Arsenal and Ajax in the week. So it's probably just more for the fact that she's just slightly tired, more than the fact that of her performance. But just not usually Lauren James as we normally see her. And then obviously Fran Kirby comes on for Chelsea, making her 200th appearance for the club. 115 goals for Chelsea. Believe that she is their leading goal scorer. Joined in 2015 from Reading, her hometown club, where she made her first team debut at Reading, Fran Kirby, at the age of 16. Again, that sneeze just won't come. I do apologise. As Myra Ramirez there brought down on the halfway line, and it's a yellow card given to Marika Bergman Lundin for West Ham. The Swedish central midfielders pulled at the arm of Myra Ramirez, the substitute, and that's why she's got the yellow card, just for the pull. As Myra Ramirez was just getting away from her. No, just not happening. God, I do apologise. So, West Ham change. Just not quite been in the game second half. I thought she was decent in the opening stages of the first half, and that is Jess Zhu for West Ham, the Irish international. She's been replaced by number 8, Emma Snurler, for West Ham, who assisted in West Ham's 1-1 draw to Manchester United. She joined over 2 years ago now, Emma Snurler. Turned 23 yesterday. The Danish central midfielder. As we're back underway, 25 minutes left to play. Chelsea just one up. Just unfortunately for West Ham, they've not really done anything of note in the second half. They had loads of chances in the first, and they should have had one at least. One was disallowed for offside when there was no offside in play, which is slightly frustrating for West Ham, who are obviously coming up against a team that have got a lot more quality than them. As Lawrence goes into the box towards Ramirez, who controls it and strikes it across the goal. Goes all the way through for Written Karmrid, squares it once again. Well dealt with there by Tiziak. West Ham need to clear. They do out to the right-hand side, but no one's there in a claret and blue shirt. And it's a Chelsea throw just in front of the halfway line. It's a ball forward. It's quite direct, actually, from Ashley Lawrence, looking for the run of Ramirez, who just drifted out to the right-hand side of the box, out-muscled Tiziak, and pulled the ball across. I don't know if it was a pull back there from Ramirez or a shot. I think it was a shot. It was actually a good save by the goalkeeper. Arnold stuck a right boot out at it and saved it quite well in the end. I didn't quite see that touch from the goalkeeper. But Chelsea couldn't score from the following actions from it. As Ueke for West Ham sends the ball back towards the 18-yard box. It bounces towards Ramirez, who wants to shoot. It's dealt with there by Tiziak. Bit of a weird kick of the ball there by Ueke, who now gets the ball here, controls it, keeps it away from Buchanan to Bergman London. It's now with the left wing back of Smith, who can't quite take on Macario. And it's Chelsea back on the ball here. Cuthbert on the edge of the box, right footed, slips as she shoots. Blocked there by Zadorski, but it's one back there off Hayashi by Cuthbert. So Chelsea can continue to attack it. One back though by Shimizu for West Ham on the edge of the box. Strong tackle there on Kirby. And West Ham regain the ball in their 18-yard box here. With Mackenzie Arnold, the goalkeeper, sends it forward to the centre circle. Touched on there by Ueke. Drops here eventually to Snurler for West Ham. Into the run of the right wing back of Denton. Kicks the ball off Charles, but decides to keep the ball in there, Denton. And eventually West Ham give away the ball through Essay, who fouls Charles on that far side. We've got a quarter of the game to go here. Chelsea still top of the league at the moment with these 3 points. Just a bit of a late challenge there by Issei on Charles. As we return to the action after the replays, and the ball rolls into the hands of the West Ham goalkeeper of Mackenzie Arnold, who now has the ball at her feet. And she kicks it long, beyond the halfway line, flicked on towards Issei, dealt with by Charles, who clears it with a left foot for Chelsea, all as far as Hayashi, whose pass can't quite find a teammate, brought in by Cuthbert, who plays it through towards Ramirez, in the box, left-hand side, tight angle, the cross is the only option, can't quite work it though, can't quite work it in there, tackle by Shimizu, and West Ham could try and get away down their right-hand side, forward there to Issei by Snurler, still with Issei, facing her own goal, she's bundled to the ground there by Buchanan, and that'll be a free kick for West Ham. Good hold-up play there by Vivian Issei. As mentioned before, she joined from Bayern Munich in the Bundesliga, and she won the Bundesliga title with Bayern Munich in the 2020-2021 campaign. That's after she left Bordeaux in France in 2020 to join Bayern Munich. As West Ham go long, Zadorski can't quite find the striker of Ueke. He's on the halfway line with Cuthbert, goes back to Carter. He's got Issei chasing her down here. Carter not put in a great position there, but she can work it back to Hampton. And it's a bit more calm now on the ball for Chelsea. Could have been a bit more problematic with that Cuthbert pass back to Carter. Hampton clips it to the right, flicked on by Lawrence, the right back. Macario returns it to Lawrence, then back into Macario again. It's brilliant play. Macario for Chelsea, through to Ramirez, takes the touch, and the shot towards the far left corner. It comes off the post and eventually cleared. So close for Ramirez, who's looking for a third Chelsea goal. And she's really made the difference since coming on in the last 7 or so minutes. And she nearly scored there off the bench, Myra Ramirez. But Chelsea can come again here down the left-hand side. It's Macario onto her right foot in the corner of the box. Goes outside the area to Leupoltz. Then out to the right to Buchanan. Forward to Ramirez. Back to goal. Feeds it out to the right wing here to Lawrence, the right back. Finds Ramirez again. Turns on her left foot. Tries to play a ball out to the left wing to Written Karmrid. Deflects off Shimizu. And then, that could be a red card. And it will be. The West Ham... it won't be. Is it? She's got away with one there massively. Marika Bergman London, who just picked up a yellow not long ago, went to kick the ball away from Ramirez, but Ramirez got there first, and it looked like a bit of a reckless challenge in the end there. Chelsea aren't complaining as much as I thought they would. Denton cleared it forward. Ramirez just got there ahead of Bergman Lundin. And I think she's lucky there. I think she's lucky that she's not picked up a second yellow. She's on thin ice now, the 24-year-old. Bergman Lundin. But it's a brilliant opportunity for Chelsea. Macario, 22 yards out, over the wall, over the crossbar. Goal kick for West Ham. As West Ham still have 11 players on the pitch, and Chelsea's just 1-0 up still. They've just got to be careful. Because although West Ham haven't done a lot this second half, they're still within a chance of getting an equaliser here. Thank you. It's 15 likes. That's healthy numbers. I'm glad to see that many people liking the live stream. It does mean a lot, and it does really help the channel out. If you believe that or not, then you should, because it really does help out, liking and subscribing and just watching the streams in general. As on the left wing position, Asai flicks over her own head, looking for Bergman Lundin, who can keep the ball and break through in the box here. West Ham are in. She takes the shot, which deflects off Carter, and then there's a foul on the edge of the box there on Ueke by Leupolz, and that'll be a yellow card and a free kick for West Ham right on the edge of the box. This is what I'm talking about. If West Ham could just break in, win a set piece, this game can change. It was actually well kept there by Bergman Lundin to get away from Buchanan. And then, like I say, the shot was blocked and then it fell towards Ueke, who just beat Leupolz to it, and she was tripped, and it's a rightly given free kick and a yellow card. And this is an opportunity for the home side here, who have lost 5 of their 8 games at home this season in the league. It's Asai over it, making a 50th appearance for West Ham. Perfect place for a free kick, 20 yards out, just to the left side of the box, so more suited to a right footer. It's a 5-player Chelsea wall here, because this could cause problems for Hannah Hampton in the Chelsea goal. It's Vivian Asai who's got the responsibility of scoring this free kick. Over the wall and over the crossbar. Skinned the side net in there. Skimmed it. And Hampton was reaching for that. If it was on target, she may have just had that covered. She stood right in the middle of a goal there, Hampton. And just couldn't quite work it underneath the crossbar there, Asai. Big chance goes to waste for West Ham, and they've not had many of those chances in this second half. So Chelsea want to counter-attack, but the play's been slowed down there as the ball was moving, as Chelsea had a free kick in their own half there. But like I said, thanks to everyone who's here, who's tuned in, who's listened throughout. Does mean a lot, does massively help out as well. Like I said, the next 2 commentaries are just on the bottom of the screen, but we've got 4 commentaries coming up next week from Friday to Monday. So 4 days of commentaries in a row as the international break for the men's game will end, and we'll have club football back again. Chelsea, edge of the area, Leupolz drags a shot wide. Does not catch that at all there. Melanie Leupolz, who's already on a booking, so she needs to be careful in that midfield area. But Manchester City will be watching this game, praying West Ham can do something for them here. Well held up there, Ueke from the goal kick on halfway. And she gets the ball returned to her here. Ueke midway side the Chelsea half here. She's going towards the right side, tries to play a ball through for Asai, who made a run down the middle, but it was deflected away by Buchanan. And then brought away here for Chelsea by Kirby, who's been tackled, but the loose ball drops to Ramirez, and it's Chelsea back in possession in their own half here. It's now in the centre circle with Macario. Lays it off here into Leupolz. Lifts it down the right-hand side. Loads of time and space for Lawrence. Touch into the box. She pulls her across. Deflects through to the far post, where it's going to be dealt with here by Denton. And it's a throw-in in the final third on the left-hand side for Chelsea. Big opportunity. So much time and space on that right flank there for Lawrence, who got forward from right back. Kirsty Smith couldn't get back to recover. And the cross went in towards the near post looking for Kirby. But it just went beyond the Chelsea number 14. And it's still the away side in domination here as Lawrence spins Smith towards the byline. Cross goes in again at the near post. Last touch there. Surely comes off Tiziak, and it does at the near post. Well defended. Corner on the near side here for Chelsea. I think it was actually the number 3, Risi Shimizu, who actually got there to deflect that cross behind. But with 15 minutes to play, like I say, Chelsea have really dominated the second half, but haven't been able to get another goal. West Ham have barely had any chances this second half. They had quite a lot in the first. Macario delivers for Chelsea towards the far post. Overhit. Lou Poltz has to chase it down. She'll get there, though, for West Ham ahead of Denton. Now Lou Poltz try to spin Denton. She's been brought down, though, by West Ham's number 18, and that'll be a free kick. Bit too aggressive there with the defending by their number 18 of Anouk Denton. And on the left-hand side, about midway side the West Ham half, it's a free kick. Macario's over it. She just took that corner and she overhit the cross, so she's got another attempt to try and make up for that poor corner with this cross from the free kick. Cross goes in towards the penalty spot. Good header won there. Good header won there by Ueke. As far as Buchanan. And Chelsea can try and get it back in the box. They've worked it to the near side here to Lawrence. She will deliver the ball in towards the far post. It goes all the way through. Takes a deflection on the way through. Corner for Chelsea on the far side. I'm not sure if that took any nick on the way through. Have to see a replay, but the referee clearly thought that there was a slight touch off a West Ham player. It's going to be the right foot here of Macario to take it. It's going to be an in-swinger towards the near post. It's flicked on, and it's deflected into Cuthbert in the area. He's got time to strike it. It deflects and cleared for West Ham. Didn't quite catch it on a weaker left foot there, Erin Cuthbert. As Lawrence tries to go forward down the left for Chelsea towards no one in blue. Rolls out for a West Ham goal kick. As the Hammers are still in this game. They need to start becoming a bit more dangerous when going forward, but they're defending really well at the moment. Just falling behind to an Aggie Beaver-Jones goal in the second minute. And they play out from the back here, West Ham. Shimizu clips it forward to the halfway line. Headed away by Lou Poltz. Only as far as Snurler for West Ham. It's now Hayashi on halfway. Forward to Asei. Bundled to the ground there by Carter. And it's seen as a free kick. I'm not sure for that with me. I thought Asei just ran into Carter. Carter laughs at the explanation of the referee. No, not for me. That is shoulder to shoulder. I think that's a weak decision from the referee. Asei was looking for it. I think Carter's been hard done by there. We've not had the cleanest of officiating performances here by all involved. The two assistant referees have had poor decisions for offsides, and just don't think that was a free kick there. But West Ham will take it. About 30 yards from goal here, as the West Ham goalkeeper's down at the moment, which isn't a great sign. Both gloves are off as well, which is also not a good sign. They don't want to lose their captain, Mackenzie Arnold. They do have two goalkeepers on the bench. They have the experienced 29-year-old of Megan Walsh, who they brought in from Brighton this summer as backup goalkeeper. She's got 3 WSL appearances this season already, from November to December. And in fact, for Megan Walsh, the backup goalkeeper, at Brighton, she was their number 1 last season, and she kept 1 clean sheet for them in the entirety of the season, and that 1 clean sheet was against West Ham in the May. So that may be why West Ham brought her in, because she was able to keep a clean sheet against them. But hopefully for Mackenzie Arnold, the West Ham goalkeeper, it's something she can deal with, and she can continue in the game, as we've got 10 minutes to go here, and it is still very tense. It's tight. It's not a foregone conclusion which way this game will go. She's back to her feet. She's getting her gloves back on as well, which is good. Good to see as well. So it looks like the West Ham captain will be able to continue in between the sticks. So, this free kick will be taken by West Ham's number 8 of Emma Schnurler. About 30 yards out or so. Just to the left-hand side of the box. Just a one-player wall here for Chelsea. So it looks like it's going to be a cross, which will be delivered into the box here. Schnurler puts it in, doesn't beat the first player there for Chelsea. Easy header for Cuthbert. Back out to the left though to Schnurler. So she's got a second bite at it. In with a weaker left foot. Volleyed on though by Ueke. But nowhere near on target there. Goal kick for Chelsea. Bit of a waste there for West Ham. Poor delivery in the box from the original free kick there by Schnurler. And it looks like we're going to get 2 more West Ham changes. We've already had 2. With Schnurler coming on. And Bergman London. And we're going to get 2 more here. But before that, we're going to get a Chelsea change. Ritin Karmrid, the winger, will be replaced by Guro Reiten, the Norwegian winger, who just has the 3 goals this season in the WSL. The last goals she scored was a brace in the league against Everton in early February. So she comes on. She did start the game, the last 2 games, Guro Reiten against Arsenal and Ajax. And then the West Ham changes are being made. So it is Denton and Essay off for Hawa Sissoko, the centre-back, and Emma Harris, the 5'10" striker. So it's like-for-like changes. Not really wanting to go for it any more than they are West Ham. Because if they do try and attack more, it might leave them more vulnerable at the back and they might end up seeing this game run away from them. And they've got a throw in here on halfway, West Ham. On the far side, it's with Shimizu, who will move up to the right wing-back position, but she throws it straight to Leupolz, because it forward towards Ramirez, who can find Macario, who will charge down on goal here. Tries to play a ball through towards Kirby in the area, cut out by Sissoko, cleared by Mackenzie Arnold for West Ham. And out it goes for a Chelsea throw-in. Still inside the West Ham half for Chelsea, as Macario's pass wasn't quite up to the standard needed, as she was looking for Fran Kirby. The throw-in, hooked away by Sissoko. West Ham need to get rid. Always starts Cuthbert, who goes back to the halfway line, finding Buchanan. Lifts it down the left-hand side here towards Ramirez, who touches it down and can keep it in on that far side. Oh no, she can't. Rolls out of play. Throw-in for West Ham in the defensive third with 7 minutes left of the 90. Nervy times for Chelsea, who haven't been able to really see this one through. Or see this one out of sight. Like I say, West Ham have never won in this fixture. 15 Chelsea wins and 1 draw. That 1 draw came back in March 2019. And it's now on the Chelsea right with Lawrence. Back to the halfway line here with the centre-back Buchanan. Been forced all the way back to Hampton in the Chelsea goal. Just outside of her 18-yard box. She sends it high and out to the right. Header won by Smith for West Ham ahead of Lawrence. It's now Hayashi down the left-hand side. Drops here for Buchanan, who's ball into Cuthbert. Can find the Scottish midfielder. And it's now back to the halfway line now to Buchanan. It's now Carter. Out to Neve Charles at left-back on the halfway line. Goes forward towards Brighton. Cut out though by Shimizu. All as far as Leupolz, who keeps it away from Harris for West Ham. And it's now Chelsea on the ball. Hampton goes long beyond halfway line. Looking up towards Ramirez, who can head it on out wide left here to Brighton, who can keep the ball in here midway side the West Ham half. Then forward towards Ramirez, who's peeled out to this left wing here. Ramirez knocking it around Shimizu as she has too much of herself. No, she hasn't, because she can work across into the near post. Cleared away. And a throw in for Chelsea right next to the corner flag on that far side. Good run in there though from Myra Ramirez. Looks like she may have overran that one with the heavy touch, but she was able to keep it in and work a cut back. Didn't amount to anything though in the end for Chelsea. Throw in by Charles into the 18-yard box. Poked away by Sissoko, which fell to Cuthbert, who turns, looks to try and dink this into the box. Header won though by Tiziak for West Ham. Back to Cuthbert, though. Her touch sends her out to the right-hand side where she'll work a shot towards goal, and always going high, just too high there by Cuthbert for Chelsea, who is on 6 goals for the season, 0 in the last 7 that she's played. But she has scored twice this season against West Ham, 1 in the league and then 1 in the FA Cup, both at home. There's West Ham on that far side. Loses out, though, for Emma Harries. The number 12, the striker, off the bench, just ran out of pitch on that far side. That's a throw for Niamh Charles. Down the line it goes. Flicked on again by Ramirez. Dealt with, though, by Shimizu with her header only reaching as far as Ramirez. 22 yards out from goal. Played it out to the right here to Cuthbert. Cuthbert wants to try and find Lawrence in behind and in the box, but the pass has been intercepted by Smith. Ueke, though, heavy touch, gives it away. So now eventually finds Lawrence. Forward here into the box here for Kirby, who's in an offside position as the pass was played. And it's a West Ham free kick. It'll be interesting to see what conclusion we get to this game, because we've got 4 minutes left. Chelsea are just 1 up, but West Ham just don't look like scoring. They don't look like they can get forward, which is a worry. Seems like at some point they've just got to kind of commit maybe and just go for it. As the goalkeeper Arnold sends it long out to the left. Header won, though, by Buchanan. Loose ball finds Lawrence at right back for Chelsea. Cuts inside and plays out to the right. It's a great ball. Goes beyond Zadorsky for West Ham. It's now with Kirby into the area for Ramirez. Tries to find the return to Kirby. And it's kicked out of play by Tiziak. Good defending by the Belgian. And there'll be a corner on the near side for Chelsea, who have been so dominant in this second half, but haven't got a goal to show for it. But thankfully, Aggie Beaver Jones' goal in the first 2 minutes of the game has got them ahead at the moment. This would be Chelsea's 8th clean sheet of the season in the league, and 6 of them would be away from home. So they are showing how good they are away. They've only conceded 5 goals away from home this season in the league, Chelsea, in their 8 that they've played so far. There's Macaro from the corner. Far post, controlled by Cuthbert, and then struck at goal. That's a brilliant finish from Erin Cuthbert, and that wraps up the 3 points for Chelsea. It's been a frustrating second half where they've just not been able to find the back of the net despite their complete domination. But from a corner, delivered in by Macario, it was chested down by Cuthbert, who absolutely walloped that ball into the back of the net. Maybe a bit of frustration in that strike, just hitting that with some power. Too much for Arnold in the West Ham goal. Chested it down, 12 yards out, right-footed. Not necessarily aiming for a corner there, Cuthbert. Just aiming the ball on target and hoping it finds its way in. And that's exactly what it did. It was actually pretty much down the centre of the goal. Just above the West Ham goalkeeper. Went past her in a flash. Just underneath the crossbar. Just over the hand of the goalkeeper. Perfectly placed into the back of the net. And Chelsea eventually have their second goal here. And at Victoria Road here, it is West Ham 0, Chelsea 2. And Erin Cuthbert has now scored in 3 games in a row against West Ham. Scored in the previous league game at home. Scored in the FA Cup 4th round fixture between these two earlier on in the season. And now she scored in the league away game against them. She just loves a goal against West Ham. She's got another one here. And it pretty much guarantees Chelsea their 3 points here. West Ham just did not and have not done enough in this second half to warrant a goal. They did more than enough to warrant a goal in the first half, but it just never came for them, even though they did have the ball in the back of the net, but it was given as offside when there wasn't an offside flag in, when there shouldn't have been an offside flag put up. It was a fair goal ruled out. So there'll be a bit of frustration for West Ham in that sense, that they had a fair goal ruled out, but this second half, while they've been 1-0 down, they've just not done anything of note going forward. It's been all Chelsea, and all they were missing, Chelsea, was a second goal to kind of put them out of sight. And right near the end of the game, they've got that second goal through Erin Cuthbert. And it's going to be a Chelsea 3 points, which puts them back to the top of the table. And in fact, for Erin Cuthbert, it's 4 games in a row which she scored against West Ham. She also scored the last time these two sides met last season in that 4-0 away win in the league. That was also a late goal by Cuthbert. She scored in the 3rd minute of added on time to make it 4-0. So, like I say, 4 games in a row where Cuthbert has scored against West Ham. That one was a brilliant finish from her. And for Erin Cuthbert, it's her 7th of the season. So we're going to have 5 minutes of added on time here. Too late now for West Ham to try and get a draw. That's been taken away from them, that opportunity. As West Ham clear it down towards their left-hand side. Snurler will chase it. Buchanan will not get there first. It's Snurler trying to take on Buchanan on the left wing for West Ham. Goes into Hayashi, then into the West Ham half there with Zadorsky. Lifts it up into a central area. Header won by Jess Carter. Controlled by Ramirez. Kirby's making a run through into the box. She finds Kirby, who's been put on a tight angle here. She lays it off though into Macario instead, who will chop onto her left foot. Curls it towards the top left corner. It's a save made though by Mackenzie Arnold for West Ham, and she tries to send away a counter-attack here. Long ball forward, can't quite find Ueke up front, and it's dealt with by Carter. And it's Chelsea once again on the ball, cleared long by Hampton, headed forward by Zadorsky into Snurler in the left wing again here for West Ham. Turns away nicely from Leupolz, goes back into her own half here to Zadorsky. Thanks to everyone who's been here during this live stream. If you could like, subscribe before you go, that would be fantastic. 4 commentaries coming at the end of next week. Got Wrexham, Mansfield, Aston Villa, Wolves, Liverpool, Brighton, and Leeds, Hull. So plenty of tasty fixtures coming up on the Easter weekend. Chelsea have got it back in the centre circle with the scorer of the second, and that's Erin Cuthbert. It's now on the near side here with Macario. Ball in behind, brought down almost by Lawrence on the edge of the box. It was a delicious ball through. The touch didn't quite match the pass, and it went through to the goalkeeper of Mackenzie Arnold. As she throws it out here to the number 14 of Shalina Zadorsky. 31 years of age now, the Canadian centre-back. Just the 1 WSL goal for her back in February 2022. For Spurs, the club she's on loan at the moment. And here she's on the ball halfway line on the near side. Zadorsky goes across here to Amber Tiziak. Started playing football at the age of 5, the Belgian. She's at the age of 24 now. As a clearance from Sissoko comes off Kirby. Throwing in the West Ham half here for the home team. Down the right-hand side it goes. Another deflection. Another throw for West Ham. This time inside the Chelsea half. Throwing taken quickly. It's now Hayashi. Trying to play it down the right-hand side there, but it's dealt with by Carter, who clears it up to the halfway line. Controlled by Ramirez. She tries to burst past Tiziak, but can't get away from Shimizu. And that'll be a throw-in for Chelsea on that far side. Well won by Ramirez. Good tracking, though, by Shimizu, the West Ham central defender. Well, central defender and wing-back. She can do both, the Japanese defender. Throw-in by Charles, looking for Ramirez. Can't quite control it. Cleared away in the end by Harris for West Ham. Only as far as Cuthbert, who wants a second. Shots blocked from 25 yards there by Zadorsky. Drops back for Chelsea, though, so they'll regain possession on that far side here with Wrighton. Can she take on Shimizu? No, she can kick it off the West Ham defender. Throw-in for Chelsea, who find themselves back on top of the WSL with this 3 points. And they don't play another WSL game now until 4 games' time. Their next 3 are all in cup competition. They've got Ajax in the Champions League, Arsenal in the League Cup final, and then Manchester United in the FA Cup semi-final. So it could be a really make or break month for Chelsea. So we've got 30 seconds left of the fight added on. Throwing into the box. It's dealt with there by Tiziak. All as far as Ramirez in the left wing towards the corner flag. Goes back to Wrighton, who goes back herself 10 yards here to Charles. Inside to Kirby. Just away from the number 14. Collected here for West Ham by Smith. Ball forward. Won back though by Cuthbert ahead of Snurler. It's now Kirby into Macario.
Cuthbert on the edge of the centre circle here in the West Ham half. Goes out to the right to Lawrence. Facing away from the West Ham goal. Goes inside to a left here to Cuthbert. Then back into Buchanan in the back line. And that is when the referee blows the whistle. It's job done for Emma Hayes in Chelsea as they return to the top of the WSL title race above Manchester City. It's definitely a performance that West Ham can be proud of. They really made it hard for Chelsea, the current 4-time WSL winners in a row. They've tried to make it 5 league titles in a row here, Chelsea, and they're well on their way at the minute. And they put themselves back on top with this win. They are top of the league on goal difference at the moment, and that's what it could come down to at the end of the day. Because Manchester City and Chelsea just simply don't look like they will be losing anytime soon in the WSL. But the goal scoring started in the second minute of the game, and in all honesty, I thought the floodgates had been opened and I didn't think they'd be shut again. Aggie Beaver-Jones scoring in the second minute of play, assisted by Lauren James, putting a nice finish into the bottom left corner inside the 18-yard box. But it wasn't until the 88th minute where Chelsea ended up doubling their lead. Substitute Erin Cuthbert off the bench, scoring for the 4th time in a row against West Ham. But West Ham had plenty of opportunities in the first half. They had a disallowed goal in the 15th minute. It was ruled out for offside, but on replays, it should have been allowed. It should have been 1-1. It wasn't given. But for West Ham, they also hit the bar in the first half. They had 2 golden opportunities inside the 18-yard box with their left wing-back of Kirsty Smith and their striker of Vivian Assayi. But they couldn't quite work a shot on target in the end if you take away that disallowed goal. That's where they lacked it in the first half. It was just their finishing. It was their ruthlessness that was just avoiding West Ham. And it meant at half-time they went in 1 down. And when they came out for the second half, they just couldn't get any real opportunities. It was complete and utter Chelsea domination in that second half. West Ham barely had a sniff, and Chelsea were able to make it 2 late on, and it's 3 points for them. And at Victoria Road here, it finishes West Ham 0, Chelsea 2. The right result in the end. I think West Ham will be kicking themselves because they had such a good first half performance. Should have been level. They had a goal wrongfully disallowed, but like I say, that second half they were just pinned in to their own half, and they could just not really manufacture any decent or dangerous attacks. But it's definitely a performance they can take a lot from. They defended really well there, West Ham, but just couldn't quite get the shots on target, really. And like I say, they'll definitely take positives, but for West Ham, they've got to start picking up points shortly because they are currently second bottom, which means they stay up. It's only the bottom team that get relegated, and that's Bristol City, and they're on 6 points at the moment. Bristol City have just won 1 game from their 17, so they won't be relegated, but if West Ham finish second bottom, it's just a bit of a kick in the teeth because you're kind of showing yourself that you're just the worst of the rest, if you know what I mean. Because Bristol are so far down, you just almost got to forget that they're there. So it's almost like if you finish second bottom, it's a little bit embarrassing being the, being bottom of the rest of the teams. But there's still a lot of football to play. These two sides still have 5 league games left to play. A lot of points to play for. But for West Ham, their poor form continues. It's just 1 win in 9 now at home in the league. It's just really poor form for the Hammers. But they've definitely got positives they can take. But despite the positives that they will be able to take, there's no points for them, unfortunately. And that's where West Ham are struggling at the moment. Just the lack of points they're picking up. And that's why they're second bottom. And that's why they will stay there now until the foreseeable future. A great commentary, Mitch. Thank you very much. Thank you to everyone who has been here throughout the live stream. Thank you to everyone who liked and subscribed as well. We have got commentaries coming up, like I say, during the Easter weekend. We've got 4 commentaries in 4 days. Wrexham Mansfield on the Friday, Aston Villa Wolves on the Saturday, Brighton travel to Liverpool on the Sunday, and on the Monday we have Leeds against Hull in the Championship. But for me, that's going to be the end of the live stream. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. Chelsea continue their title push. They regain their top spot in the league, beating West Ham here. It took 2 goals, 1 at the start of the game and 1 near the end, but in the end it was enough, despite the frustration, despite the struggle, Chelsea come out on top. They win here at West Ham. It finishes West Ham 0, Chelsea 2.